If you ever found yourself glued to the screen, watching someone indulge in a mountain of fries while sharing the latest tea, then you've probably stumbled across her videos. Chantal Marie, also known as Foodie Beauty, is a Canadian YouTuber. She started her YouTube channel back in 2014. However, what started as a beauty channel inadvertently became famous for her eating an insane amount of food in a single sitting, usually all by herself in an empty parking lot.
Today I have for you, oh, it doesn't even say on the bag, but Five Guys, burger and fries. I'm going to the gym after this, isn't that appropriate? Look at these bad boys. Oh my god. I got the Cajun fries.
One thing that you should know about Chantal is that she has always lied constantly, unconvincingly, and pointlessly about almost everything, be it her interactions with men, her education, or her weight loss journey. You see, she wants to portray an image of a glamorous influencer, a persona that she sabotages by, constantly lying about her diet and losing weight, all while her health is visibly nosediving.
I know this sounds bad, but that bite was like worth being fat for. Even just for a split second.
This is the story of Chantal Marie, her outlandish behavior, and her delusional attempts to convince people of her weight loss journey, which, to be fair, never existed. Who is Chantal Marie, and how did she become Foodie Beauty? Chantal was born on March 28, 1984. Her mother, Kim, was only a teenager when she had Chantal. From what we know, Chantal grew up only in the presence of her mother since her father left her when she was very young. Growing up without a father figure in her life really took a toll on her emotional health, and she learned to resent men, all the while wanting their attention. Her fans believe that her hatred for men has stemmed from her daddy issues, which is why she's so fond of telling stories where men lust after her.
He had a lot to drink. We both had a lot to drink. And he was like, do you want to come home with me tonight? He was like really hyper. Sorry. And he's like, that fart sounded worried. Probably knows what's coming later.
On the other hand, Chantal's hatred for women in a similar vein stems from envy of their superior desirability and maybe resentment of their ability to not become morbidly obese. Although Chantal grew up without her biological father, her mother did later marry another man and had a daughter named Natalie. You would think growing up without a family, Chantal might like the idea of having a sister. But no, she despised Natalie from the very beginning. She was jealous of the fact that Natalie was getting the love of both her father and mother, and so Chantal would showcase her hatred by calling her sister ugly and dumb. While we don't know if this is true or just an exaggerated version of her hatred, this behavior wouldn't really be surprising for a child with abandonment issues. But this was just the beginning of Chantal's childhood problems. Chantal admitted in one of her videos that she dated a 21-year-old guy when she was only 15.
When I first met him, I was 15 and he was 21. So yeah, kind of to begin with. I mean, I was a mature younger person, but...
She also says that this guy was a and had serious drinking problems. While she tells her the story like it's just another bad boyfriend experience, it's actually much more serious than this. And to make matters worse, Chantal also discovered that this guy actually had a girlfriend and a kid. But guess what? Chantal continued to hook up with this 21-year-old mystery guy even after this discovery because she was apparently head over heels for him.
I didn't know that this guy had a girlfriend who was pregnant with his child. A girlfriend who liked to fight. And she was older. She was in her mid-20s. This girl tried to make my life hell when she found out about me. Like, why don't you attack him? Why me? I didn't know about you, But at that point I was already like really in love with him, or so I thought. And she was so mean about it that I was like, you know what, bitch? I'm gonna keep screwing your boyfriend. And I know that's bad. I would never do that now, but when you're young and dumb, right?
Fortunately, though, her parents found out about this, but instead of contacting the authorities, they decided to ground Chantal. And when she wasn't allowed to sleep over with an older guy, Chantal attempted a fake suicide. Although she never took any real pills, she was kept in the hospital for a day or two to ensure that everything was alright. During that time, she shared a hospital room with another girl who had an eating disorder, completely opposite of Chantal. The girl was anorexic and was regularly given large amounts of food to eat. Seeing this was torture for Chantal, and she herself admitted that she would often ask the girl to give Chantal her food.
I had said to her at some point, "Are you gonna eat those candy?" And I think she kind of caught on because she gave them to me. She gave me her candies.
Even though most of her videos feature wild stories while scarfing down food, I would highly suggest that you do not do the same while watching her videos. Let's just say, it's impressive how she can go into antagonizing details about things like projectile diarrhea squirting without throwing up while she stuffs her mouth with food.
The barf goes projectile all over their wall. The poop goes all over their floor. No towels, no paper towel anywhere in the bathroom, no toilet paper.
Group home. After this fake suicide attempt, Chantal was discharged from the hospital. However, she would try to spend most of her time with her 21-year-old boyfriend. Fed up by her antics, her mom decided to move her to a group home. This was a pivotal point in Chantal's life, which made things go from bad to absolute worst. Keep in mind that Chantal was still in high school when this happened, and let's just say that living with a bunch of homeless teens surrounded by drugs didn't really help her a lot. On the contrary, she became addicted to and other substances. She had had a lot of hookups during this time, the details of which she has frequently shared in her mukbang videos. Out of these, the most infamous story is the one in which she picked up a fingerless man from a bar. She also once flashed a guy who was much older than her for only a Klondike bar. Once you start digging into her channel and watching all of her mukbang videos, you'll witness her talking about more similarly absurd experiences she had had. While she lived in a group home, she started realizing that a guy named Big G had a crush on her. Thankfully though, he was her age. Chantal decided to take advantage of the fact that Big G had a crush on her and started manipulating him to get her weed. However, the 21-year-old guy she was hooking up with found out about her Big G, and they apparently got into a huge fight. Chantal, as a way of apologizing and making up with Big G, decided to sleep with him. However, she didn't really enjoy it very much given his size, which, let's say, unlike his name, was not big at all. Again, all of these things have been said by Chantal herself in her oversharing mukbang videos. Mind you that during this entire time, she was still messing around with a 21-year-old who already had a girlfriend, but Chantal eventually got bored of one relationship and decided that she needed another man in her life. So she started dating a 38-year-old French man. She was still under 18, by the way. According to her, all of her high school, she juggled and toed with these two guys who were much older than her. While she later broke up with her quote-unquote boyfriends, although predators would be a better term, she would continue to amaze us with more disturbing sexual encounters. Most of the videos in which she admitted to having relationships with older men have now been deleted. However, coming out of her mouth, these incidents were always framed as less serious than they actually were. If what she was saying was true, Chantal hasn't only been abandoned by her parents, she was also being manipulated and sexually exploited from a very young age. And what's worse is that she never truly realized what was happening to her, which gave her a very distorted idea of right and wrong. YouTube career. Looking back at her childhood and pre-YouTube days gives you a fair idea of why Chantal is the way she is.
I'm gonna get type 3 diabetes. Oh my god. diabetes. And I'm probably gonna be single after this live stream. But I have lots of money and I can always buy my love back.
Chantal started her YouTube channel in 2014. Initially, the main focus of her content was makeup. However, she didn't really have any makeup skills whatsoever. Therefore, Chantal soon found out that her makeup and fashion videos wouldn't sail the boat. She also realized that the only video to do kind of well on her channel was a mukbang video where she ate a cheesy lasagna, a cheeseburger, and some zucchini sticks.
I see a green pepper. Anyways, I was doing like a weight loss thing on my channel before, and so I think a lot of people were following me for that, and now it's like an eating show. But people have to eat, right? So yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
She uploaded this video in 2017 and hence began her mukbang career alongside her inevitable downward spiral.
Like a company reached out to me and wanted to send me a food scale for a review, and I'm like, no, because I'm not measuring my food. I'm refused to fucking measure my food.
As time progressed, Chantal started making more and more of these videos. She was getting a lot of audience for this content. However, most of them were just hate watchers and reaction channels. She also quickly became part of the girlverse alongside the infamous Amberlynn Reid. After her high school era ended and she started making content on YouTube, there was this incident that went fairly viral involving a homeless guy. If you've been following Chantal, you probably know about this very uncomfortable encounter. Chantal just randomly found herself turned on by God knows what while she was out in public. So she decided to pick up a homeless guy from the streets and proceeded to have sex with him in a public area by a lake.
We did it on the rock near the harbor. Like not the harbor, but you know, it was like a boat dock thing.
After this incident, Chantal said she had to get checked for HIV. Well, at least she's responsible enough to do that. Like this story, her mukbang videos were always accompanied by some crazy encounters. The legitimacy of these stories has never been confirmed and has been highly speculated upon. However, it was very evident from most of her stories that she was lying. A lot of stories also revolved around her love life, or maybe lack thereof. She would just constantly find herself in relationships with different men, or lovers, as she would like to call them in this particular video, in which she told people how she promised foreplay to a guy in exchange for some burgers.
I was lonely one night. I was living by myself, so I got desperate and called one of my lovers. I won't say which one, but I might not even remember which one. Oh yes, I do. And anyway, this is bad. This is like low-key pollution, but I offered him foreplay if he would come over and bring me a couple of Whoppers. I think it was Whopper Wednesday, and he got there and I was so mad. It gets worse. I was so mad and pissy that he forgot the zesty sauce for my onion rings that I only let him squeeze my...
Moreover, her videos were starting to get really delusional.
I think the guy had a crush on me at Burger King because he gave me 3 sauces, and usually they forget my sauce. I think that's like a little way of him saying, yeah, you're cute. The guy at the window was kind of flirty with me, so I know I said I would be single for a long time, but it's gonna be hard. I'm just joking.
Whether she was lying or not in these videos, one thing was common, and it was her just shoving a ton of food down her mouth. At this point, it was getting really concerning because she was visibly gaining weight, and that too, a lot of it.
A lot of people are concerned. Like, you're not taking your health seriously. And I think actually in a weird way I am.
And to top it all up, she would constantly lie about her weight, saying things like she would hit the gym after this mukbang. Most of her videos were disgusting. It was her either lying, being gross, or both.
I have to say, best seafood boil sauce I've had. I've had a few. Definitely should have a bib. And this.
Another common thing in her videos was that there was a lot of toddler humor, a lot of barfing, farting, popping, things like that.
Had a lot to drink. We both had a lot to drink. And he was like, you know, do you want to come home with me tonight? He was like really hyper. Sorry. And he's like, that fart sounded worried. Probably knows what's coming later.
With all that said, yet somehow, these things will still be one of the less egregious things to happen on her channel. One of her most famous encounters happened when she tried to arrange a with a couple. This story is actually the originator of the projectile diarrhea incident. What happened was that Chantal actually found a couple online who were looking for another girl for a Chantal talked to the couple, but very conveniently hid her true identity from them. When she got there and the couple found out that she had been catfishing them, they simply decided to not proceed with the arrangements. Chantal had to drink away her sorrows and sleep on their couch for the night. She unfortunately woke up sick, and the rest is history. What's really hilarious and disgusting at the same time is how she's able to talk about all of this while she's munching away food. Initial relationships. Although Chantal has had a lot of boyfriends, her first boyfriend to be seen on screen was Bibi. She was Chantal's boyfriend when she first started making videos on YouTube. Although he's only been there for a while, people believe it was her breakup with Bibi that marked the beginning of Chantal's downward spiral. Bibi wasn't in a lot of Foodie Beauty's videos, and the one he was unfortunately in, let's just say he didn't enjoy it a lot.
I know I'm weird. I did wash these vegetables, but I don't peel them. Do I need to peel the potatoes?
If you want.
To come and eat, right? And they invite everybody to eat. They're so generous and nice. And everybody just eats, you know? But if I go into your spot, is that rude?
Yes.
We're gonna spray. Do you want some on yours?
Yeah.
Is it good? Oh.
After she broke up with Bibi in 2020, she moved in with her ex-boyfriend Pete's. A little backstory here, Pete's and Chantal knew each other from school days. They didn't only know each other, but they also dated for a while, up until Chantal met Bibi, and she actually cheated on Pete's with Bibi. So yeah, naturally after breaking up with Bibi, she had to go back to living with Pete's. One thing that you should know about Pete's is that he is just as weird and delusional as Chantal. Pete's is also probably the most consistent person on Foodie Beauty's channel. All in all, both of them just have a very odd dynamic, which, by the way, is very uncomfortable to watch. But we're going to make you watch anyway.
I'm gonna have bread and butter with my meal. Do you like bread and butter, Pete?
Nope. I'm a weirdo.
Bite of my schlong wiener. I've decided to really not give a anymore about, like, I'm just gonna live my life. If people wanna criticize me for what I eat, they wanna sit there and sneer at me for burping, farting, for telling threesome stories and sleeping with homeless people. Whatever, man, do what you gotta do. Cause I'm tired. I'm tired of worrying, like, you know, about things. Yeah.
Or you have no dignity. Or something.
Something's missing. Well.
Her blood is 80% gravy. She knows what food is called.
Especially poutine, because there's gravy in it.
That's my point.
Reckless driving. Now, if you know Foodie Beauty, you're probably aware of her reckless driving. There are a lot of videos floating around the internet which Chantal is just driving recklessly with no regard for her or anyone else's life. She would be streaming while driving and eating, which is considered to be distracted driving under Canadian law. People have also speculated that she has also been under the influence while driving.
See, I seen this online, like a Corona sunrise, if you know what a tequila sunrise is. And I want to make crab Alfredo with him and have a really good night.
Exit the roundabout onto Jean.
This just shows that Chantal didn't really care about the rules, and when she was called out, well, about anything, she would show how incapable she is of taking any kind of criticism. She would usually respond with a lot of threats and bullying. Either this, or she would completely ignore the entire situation and pretend like it never really happened. Copyright strikes. One of her other favorite ways to respond to criticism is filing false copyright strikes against YouTube channels that make content about her. Two of the most popular instances of this happening that we know of are Zachary Michael and Charlie Gold. But these are probably not the only ones. She striked a lot of YouTube channels for making content on her or simply reacting to her videos.
At one point, she said, if you are a channel who is committed to making a reaction video after everything I post, I will report you for bullying and harassment, period. Grow up and stop using my name for content and views, and no, it is not fair use to use an entire video and ridicule everything I do, but I will let YouTube be the judge. Now, she has made empty threats before. She's also followed up on threats before. In particular, me. She had threatened me many times before she actually finally put a copyright strike in against me.
The fact that copyright strike is the only way for YouTubers to actually protect their content makes what she did way worse, since Chantal falsely struck creators just because she couldn't take criticism and her feelings got hurt. Bullying and body shaming. It's actually very ironic, but Foodie Beauty loves to bully and body shame people. Body shaming other creators and being just downright racist is such a common habit of Chantal that we really don't know where to place this in the chronology. But this is definitely something that has been observed throughout her YouTube career. Her fat phobia is one of the major reasons why people don't like her on YouTube. As we mentioned above, she clearly has had daddy issues all her life. She wants male attention and she would never accept it. She's also constantly being rejected by men.
Texted me saying, I love your smell and your makeup and you look sophisticated. He's so cute. Yeah, he wanted me to come over like during the week, so that's a good sign. I'm like, oh, let's just do it like Friday or Saturday, and he's like, Friday. So he's like super eager to hang out with me, so he must really dig me, you know, which is it's a nice feeling, you know. So I think he blocked me because on WhatsApp there's no more profile picture. There's only one check mark and it doesn't show when he was online. So obviously he blocked me on there.
This made her grow very delusional. She would often read into something that was not even there, usually with waiters and shopkeepers. It's usually hilarious seeing her delusionally believe that everyone is just into her. However, things get a little serious when she gets rejected and she can't handle it. As a last resort, she either goes into denial or starts exhibiting her outrage online and saying things like men don't like her because she's fat, not thinking twice that it might actually be because of her very unstable personality. A perfect example of her body shaming is when she bullied another creator by the name of Life by Jen. She was a YouTuber who was also morbidly obese and made the same kind of content centered around weight loss and a healthy lifestyle. Now, Life by Jen made a video saying that she no longer supports Foodie because of some of her actions, which is a very valid thing to say since Chantal's actions have really been questionable from the beginning. However, Chantal being Chantal didn't take this very well. She appeared on a live stream during which she and her viewers said some really cruel and mean things about Jen.
Cozy. There's a camera in her community's friggin' Section 8 housing. Life support by Jen.
Although some of these things are not directly said by her, she is clearly enjoying it and laughing at it. However, to everyone's horror, Life by Jen, unfortunately, passed away only a couple of months after this incident. You would think that after Jen's death, Chantal might get back to her senses or might apologize for how she behaved. But no. Foodie Beauty is truly the queen of lying. When, during a live stream, she was confronted about this, she played dumb and pretended that she didn't know anything about it.
Serious? You have to be kidding. No. Jen died? What? Oh my god. Wow. How old is she? That's so sad. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That is insane. Another round of hearts for Jen, yes. Poor Jen.
In addition to this, she has been really racist towards people, calling racial slurs at people. What's worse is that she's mostly very unapologetic about it.
What do you guys think of the new Snow White movie? Snow White? Yeah, technically you're right. I understand they're wanting to be inclusive and everything. And, you know, but the thing is like, it's not snow beige, it's Snow White. You know, and I don't mean that in like with any racism or anything. Like the girl they picked for Snow White is beautiful and she has light enough skin, but I mean her looks are specifically described, right? She's like goth. She has like white skin. So at least pick someone with white skin. Doesn't matter like what ethnicity they are. There's a lot of ethnic people with white skin, so.
Nader. After many more absurd hookup stories in her online dating phase, Chantal found someone, and that someone was Nader. In the beginning of the Nader era, he was ever mentioned as the Egyptian man. She would often refer to him during her videos, leaving detailed explanations of what he was like. In one of her initial videos talking about Nader, she also mentioned that he's very pushy and bossy and likes to tell her what to do. But Chantal covered it up by attributing it to him really liking her and just being Egyptian, whatever that means.
I don't know if it's like all Egyptian men, but he's very fucking pushy, like bossy. Like tells me what to do all the time. Like not tells me what to do, but like yeah, he tells me what like I should like. He got mad at me because I didn't want to go over like yesterday. I'm like in bed, I'm tired.
While this should have been a clear bright red flag, Chantal was evidently blind to it, and naturally, things just went downhill from there. When she next returned, she shared the story of her first date with the Egyptian guy, and let me tell you guys, it was not a cute story. Chantal told the internet that this guy offered her hard on their first date.
I did go over to the Egyptian guy's house. So we go in his room. He's got the cleanest room I've ever seen. He's got like a small like bed like yours, a bit bigger, and then like a big mattress on the ground. So I'm just like, oh, like what? This is going to be so awkward. They was still light out. So to ease the mood, he starts smoking. He lights up this Moroccan hat. And we get totally baked. And then he like I don't want to say this, but you guys are going to be so... I don't do this on a regular basis. I don't even do it really, but I did it for some reason. I did it and
It's not good to do. And if that changes your perception of me, I apologize. But I did, like, he busted out like a bunch of...
Boo.
I know.
And if that's not enough, she proceeded to get into details about him having how it ended up with her having bruises on her body and how it persisted to hurt afterward.
He smacked my butt pretty hard. I'm not really into being slapped around, really, like a gentle slap maybe, but I said, "You're trying to me, please." Please. And then we would be talking, and then all of a sudden he'd jump on me again, and I'd be like, "No! No!" So this guy is crazy. Like, excuse me. I ended up tiptoeing out of there when he fell asleep.
For the longest time, Nader's identity remained hidden on the channel. He was first referred to as the Egyptian man and then the Dom. For a few days after their first date, there were many meetings with more and disturbing sexual encounters like these.
Here I am thinking, like, I packed my bath bombs, everything. I'm like, I'm gonna have a bath at your house. I thought we were gonna have a night like last night, you know, like just us. But it was like Saturday night. Maybe his friend came over and he couldn't. I don't know. Whatever. He probably didn't think it would be a problem. So basically, his friend. I sit at the table. His friend. So he throws money at me, like a 50. He's just like, "Let me see your." He thought I was an escort.
His saying that she should get with his friend wasn't a coincidence either, but a calculative plot to convince Chantal of group that he has been meaning to do. The next few months, she would just appear on her live streams with very dilated pupils, clearly under the influence. She at first kept denying it, but these were instances where she admitted to doing and some other. She also said that she believed she wouldn't live after that incident.
At first, I was like, oh, like my body, I couldn't stop moving around. And then I was like, this is awesome feeling. And then all of a sudden I was just like I was sweating. And then I threw up for 2 days, just dry heaving, threw up. And then it was like I couldn't stop moving. It was bad. It was bad. And then just when I thought it would go away, it would come back. I didn't realize I could have died or overdosed. Like, I think I almost did, like, for real.
This was the first time her audience was really concerned, and not because of her overeating habits. We mean this guy, Nader, Dom, whatever you want to call him, was definitely not a very good influence. And all of these fears eventually came true when she appeared on a live stream one day and confessed that she was addicted to cocaine.
I'm pretty sure that I'm addicted to cocaine. I can't stop shaking. I've been shaking all day.
After this confession, she replaced her addiction with various edible products and just shifted from one thing to another. During this phase, she just consistently appeared on live streams completely high and out of her mind. And as if all of this was not bad enough, Nader also gave her STD. During this time, Nader's identity was also finally revealed on YouTube when Chantal accidentally flashed her screen into the camera during a call. After his name was revealed, people did a little bit of digging, and it didn't take long to find Nader on dating websites. One user catfished Nader and sent some of his explicit pictures of Chantal. However, delusional Chantal was determined that those pictures were not of Nader and that he wouldn't cheat, which, let's be honest, we all know was not true. After Chantal was diagnosed with gonorrhea, Nader blamed her for it. He said that it was probably her who gave him STD because she didn't wash her. And while you may, yet again, think that this should have been the end of the relationship, it was not. Chantal actually started believing that it was her fault. She also said in her live stream,
Like, he made me think it was because of me that I got it, that we have this bacterial thing. Like, make me feel like I was dirty or something. Yeah, I was brainwashed. Yep. I have a bit of stomach pain and I do burn when I pee, so I just don't feel right. So I ordered all this stuff from Amazon because he made me think I'm dirty. So I got antibacterial wipes, some kind of perfume to put in your crotch.
But this wasn't a small hiccup in an otherwise healthy relationship. Chantal's relationship with Nader had been an abusive one from the very beginning. In fact, a few days prior to the whole STD revelation, Foodie came to a live stream and talked about a few really disturbing things that had happened during their relationship. One of these things was Nader physically abusing her.
He plays this stupid gambling game, so I sent him money for us to play. And he lost a whole bunch of money, and just he was getting so mad and nasty and just in my face, really close. And I thought oh my God, is he gonna hit me? And then we went upstairs and we had sex. And then I was I want to go home. I told you not to piss me off. You don't listen, just flipping out. And then all of a sudden I just felt something like he grabbed my face really hard and was pinching it. And I didn't know what to do. I was scared. Then he flicked his at me. And then I felt something hard in my face. I didn't see him hit me, but I feel punched me in the arms a bunch of times. And he hit my phone. So I actually snuck out when he fell asleep, and I left my phone there. And I came home. I used Pizza's phone. I said I needed to message my mom. I messaged my mom. The worst part is that he blamed it on me after. Why did you hurt me? Why did you make me hurt you, kind of thing.
Despite all of this, Chantal was still with this man. And not only this, but she also set up a YouTube account for Nader, which she only used to later deny all the claims made by Chantal. To add to that, he also flat out refused to accept that they were ever even remotely together.
Don't say I'm your boyfriend if I don't claim you. Is that simple? I'm single. I'm single. La 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 la. I'm not a relationship. I'm not with you. Listen. So that's me that I don't sleep with her. But give me twice, and she said I don't touch her. Give me blowjob to. Actually, it's disgusting to talk about that. But you wish. It's not gonna happen.
Eventually, after a lot of drama, they did split up, but Chantal would still claim that she loves him and just be super depressed in her videos.
I've known this person for not even 3 months. And I feel like I've lived an entire relationship with this person.
If things go bad, will I come cry on camera? Probably.
I'm going to my boyfriend's house. This feels so weird saying that.
I'm struggling with it, with staying away, but every day I know it's that I'm away, I know that it's the right choice. Anyway, so it's done. So I've just been depressed. It's done. I'm moving on with my life. I still really love him, but I know relationship can never be. I mean, I have to face the fact that he's probably with another woman right now. Will I take him back? No. I'm not going to talk about Dom because, you know what? I don't think he would want me to, you know?
We mean, you get the idea. Now, this was the time when Didi entered the picture. If you're not aware, Didi is the other woman who Nader started dating or was probably already dating while being with Chantal. Who knows? What we do know though is that Didi was actually one of Chantal's viewers. And guess what? She probably met Nader through Chantal's videos. Anyway, the breakup happened, and even though Chantal was trying to convince herself and her viewers that Nader did really love her, she was getting over it in her own way. Which meant taking a trip to Cuba, drunkenly rage streaming her hotel room, and also shaving her head off.
Okay, so this is what my hair looks like. I got this wig. I'll show you. 100% virgin human hair. So I just have to take this off, I guess. Maybe like that. Other way, like this. How? It's upside down, so like this. I have to use lubricant, don't I? I'm gonna skull it. Hi, Diane from Sarah.
This is probably the end of the Nader era, but it was not as clean as it looks. There were a lot of raging streams and online drama between Didi, Chantal, and Nader. There's also currently a case going on against Nader. Also, there have been clips of Nader being physically abusive towards Didi on his channel. Although Didi has denied it, it is pretty evident from the video what's happening with her. To summarize, Nader was really a horrible guy, and whether they are aware or not, both Didi and Chantal have been victims. Nonetheless, it doesn't give either of them the right to victim blame each other and turn into horrible people themselves. However, unfortunately, both of them turned really petty and said some truly horrible things. After the breakup, Chantal went on rage streaming, and in almost all of her videos, she would just victim shame Didi. She would say things like Didi probably loves being abused, that she looks like an ocean creature, and, much worse things. Salah and Kuwait era. Somewhere between the breakup with Nader, horribly bashing Didi, and the Salah era, Foodie Beauty's YouTube account was also terminated in March 2022 for a number of violations and misuse. She has been on the platform long enough, yet she didn't properly understand YouTube's terms of service. YouTube's explanation reads, "This account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy on or sexual content. There has been no solid information as to why her account has been terminated, but users claim that she tried to promote her OnlyFans account via YouTube by trying to post some explicit content, which goes against YouTube's policy. Whatever the reason might be, the Foodie Beauty account was soon reinstated, and therefore, Chantal continued to post her horrifying content, which was getting more and more unstable after the breakup. However, this was definitely the beginning of a new era for Chantal, because a new person was about to enter the story: Salah. Now, just like Nader, the audience knew very little about this new guy in the beginning. All she revealed was that he was Syrian and that she wanted to keep this relationship private. The next thing we know, Chantal is announcing that she will now try to be more reserved and dress more conservatively since she's seeing a Muslim man now. She basically shook the entire YouTube when she posted a video titled, "My First Hijab." She started the video by saying salam to the viewers, and then she went on about how she's now a more humble person.
Salam alaikum. Hello guys. Welcome. I feel good being covered. I'm a little bit insecure about my hair loss, and I just feel more secure being covered. And I have decided to try to adopt different values, try to be more humble, because at the end of the day, when you eat all of the paneer and you eat all of the fried chicken sandwiches and you sleep with the world and you do all kinds of things that are just temporary gratification, you realize that at the end of the day, there's just only so much temporary instant gratification and bad habits that you can chase, and at the end of the day you're still just left with what now. So I feel like things that are more important to me are starting to be our values and principles and things like that, and I really just kind of want to start actually doing the legwork and turning a new leaf.
This video was not shocking because she had a headscarf on. It was just uncomfortable seeing Chantal talking in a low, soft voice without cursing and showing complete disregard for other people's feelings. This was a complete 180-degree flip on her entire personality. A few days ago, she was saying all of those horrible things to Didi, calling her a punching bag, and now she was trying to take the high road by being humble and nice. But those who have been following her for a long time now knew that this was not who Chantal was. But regardless, Chantal tried her best to put on this mask of a flowery, soft voice. In addition to this, she also deleted almost everything she had put up on the internet until now. To her audience, though, it was just hilarious seeing her trying to backtrack and pretty much put a cap on everything that had happened up until that point. All because she's seeing this Muslim guy now. At this time, she also announced that she won't be doing her live streams anymore, which was truly a disappointment for a lot of hate watchers and reaction channels, because they thrived on how unhinged she used to be during those live streams. So clearly she didn't want to risk that happening again and ruin the modest appearance that she was trying to put on for Salah. But spoiler alert, this did not last. When she first started mentioning Salah in her videos, there was a lot of speculation about whether he was real or not. A lot of people thought that he wasn't real, and even if he was, Chantal was probably getting scammed for finances or for a green card. When these speculations started growing, Chantal eventually lost her cool. This is when she appeared on live stream, despite saying she wouldn't. She became extremely aggressive, mean, and just her old self. However, she came back on again and apologized for her quote-unquote emotional outburst. After this entire incident, Chantal decided that it would be a good idea to pack her bags and travel to Kuwait for 3 whole months. Now, her audience was in for a real shock once again because she was on this trip. She converted to Islam and also married Salah. Keep in mind that they have only been dating for only a month at this point. Again, there have been a lot of speculations regarding the legitimacy of this marriage, but we will take Chantal's word on this matter. For all we knew, they were married.
I just want to say that how excited I am doing videos again with my beautiful wife Chantal. There are still so many things we will do together and places to visit and explore, so stay tuned.
Meanwhile, Pete's has been left back at their house to look after Chantal's cats. One thing that people observed during this era was how neglected Chantal's pets were. It was also no surprise that the poor animals were living in such a bad condition, given that she herself was not in the right state of mind during this entire time. This is not the first or the only time that people have pointed out the animal neglect. In many of our old and recent videos, we can see the cats living in messy rooms, their food and litter all over the place. Anyway, Chantal is in Kuwait for 3 months. Pete's is taking care of the cats. She returned from Kuwait, married to Salah, and now she announces that she wants to move to Kuwait full-time because she's now married to Salah. Now, Chantal had 2 cats she never really deserved. From the beginning, Pete's used to pay for the cat food, and he also made a bunch of tweets about his situation back in the day. The Cats and FFG. When Chantal decided that she had to move to Kuwait, she didn't really care about her cats very much, which again was not surprising. However, she did say that she would relocate Sam because she was younger than BBJ, who was very elderly. For what reason, her plan for BBJ was just to take her to the vet and hope that the vet would probably diagnose something in her, and then she would put her to sleep. Although she said this plan was completely contingent on the vet finding something wrong with the cat, she never really proposed the plan B if, in case, doctors didn't find anything wrong with BBJ. So, it just seemed like she wanted to put BBJ to sleep regardless of what the vet had to say. And the way she talked about BBJ in some of her live streams was truly sad and disturbing. The fact that she would rather euthanize the cat rather than relocate her caused a huge outbreak over the internet. This was the point in the story where FFG, also known as French Fried Girl, entered the story. For those of you who know about Foodie Beauty lore, probably know about her since she is such an iconic character in Chantal's story. But for those of you who need a little backstory, don't fret, because we'll tell you everything you need to know about FFG. She actually used to be a Foodie Beauty viewer who turned into her enemy, pretty much like Didi. FFG entered the picture when Chantal actually decided to rehome BBJ, as well as Sam, following the outburst from her audience. So she finds someone to rehome BBJ, and that person is called Amy Flowers, aka French Fried Girl. When FFG had to pick up BBJ from their house, she sent her brother to get the cat. So the brother goes, Pete hands him the cat, and she stays hidden in the car. Simply put, Chantal didn't know that it was FFG who got the cat. However, after getting the cat, FFG came on a live stream titled BBJ, and this is when all the drama began. So, FFG basically called out Chantal for not taking care of the cat. She had to take the cat to emergency because her nails were so overgrown that it was growing into the pads of her paws. And on top of that, the vet also confirmed that although the cat was not looked after properly, it was really in no condition to be put down. When Foodie Beauty found out about this, she was obviously furious that FFG practically managed to swindle the cat right under her nose. Now, after this whole thing happened, Chantal initially went into hiding. However, against all our hopes, she did return, and to this very day, she refuses to accept her neglect. On the contrary, she just rages on furiously over FFG, threatening to sue her for stealing her cat.